my gosh, I can't, girlfriend. Stop calling me. Okay. Okay. Good evening. I would like to call this meeting to order. The board will meet in closed session to address items 1 through 3 on the agenda. Do we have any blue cards for closed?
There are no blue cards on these items.
Thank you very much. I would like to close public comment, and we will recess in closed session. Good evening. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. The board has met in closed session and no action was taken. Welcome to the Elk Grove Unified School District's board meeting. Instead of using the Zoom platform, we'll be using the Cosumnes Community Services District's streaming service. You can access the live stream link from the district's website or directly through CSD's website. Today's meeting is being video recorded and will be available on the district's YouTube channel. The public comment process has shifted to in-person while utilizing the temporary live stream platform. We encourage you to attend the meetings and share your feedback with the board. Your active participation is valued and contributes to the decision-making process. Public comment information. During regular board meetings, the public may make public comments on items on the agenda or items not on the agenda. Requests to make public comment will be accepted for an item up until the board president introduces the item. Generally, members of the public will be given 3 minutes to address the board. If there are 15 or more comments on a specific item, the board will reduce individual comment time to 2 minutes each. If there are 30 or more comments on a specific item, the board will reduce individual comment time to 1 minute each. Individuals may not defer their time to another individual speaker to increase their total speaking time. Please be mindful that district students may be watching. You are encouraged to address the board and the public in a respectful manner, such that all those observing, from children to adults, are made to feel welcome, safe, and valued. The board shall not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group shall be grounds for the board president to provide a warning and then to terminate the individual's privilege of addressing the board. And now we will read our land acknowledgement.
We acknowledge that the Elk Grove Unified School District administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn. The Miwok have cared for these lands since time immemorial. They continue to teach our traditional knowledge that comes from and responds to the needs of the land and people who share it. May our daily lives and work teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement support the evolving vision of the Miwok for their community in these lands. May we strive to acknowledge the past for the betterment of our future generations. May we look to our tribal partners, the Wilton Rancheria, the descendants of the original people of this land, to assist with the successful education of our community.
Thank you. And now, for the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like to call Mr. Ahmad Nassim Kashgawer and his family to come on up, along with Principal Cindy Doyle from Aletha Donner Elementary. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Vargas.
And before you get started, we have a couple of words we'd like to say. So Donner Elementary School is honored to recognize Mr. Ahmad Nassim Kashgawer as our education partner. Mr. Kashgawer is an Operations Service trainer for Apple and an alumni of Kansas State University, where he earned an MA in Modern Languages, and from California State University, Sacramento, where he completed his MBA. Mr. Kashgawer and his wife have 4 amazing children who attend Aletha Donner and are accompanying them here this evening. Nuzat, 6th grade, Marwa, 4th grade, Ahmad, 2nd grade, and Sedna, who is in kindergarten. The Kashgawers joined the Donner Elementary family in 2020. The Kashgawer family goal is to support their children, the school, and the community. They earned the distinction of 5-star family through ongoing engagement and dedication to the school. They frequently participate in activities such as Family STEM Night, back-to-school nights, parent universities, awards and promotion ceremonies, and other family events. Mr. Kashgawer also serves as the Donner Elementary DELAC representative. Outside of school, the family shares a love of soccer and volleyball. We are honored to have Mr. Kashgawer and his family represent Aletha Donner Elementary in leading the Pledge of Allegiance this evening.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and justice for all.
Don't leave, don't leave. We have something for you.
We'll go right in front of the sign. We'll do a picture.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Singh, we are excited to announce the 2023-2024 Employees of the Year recognition.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Madam President, community, Superintendent Hoffman, Cabinet. It is an honor today to recognize some of the most amazing people who work every day to support our students and our communities. So here's how we will do it. When I call upon the employee, I would like them to come this way. The HR directors are here. They will hand you the plaque. We want the administrator and the bargaining unit to join them. And then if we can have the board to come down, and then we will have all of them come up this way and shake hands and take a picture. I'm going to move this one. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so our first employee of the year is in the AFSCME category, and I'm going to ask Monique Penniman to come up, please. All right, Ms. Penniman is going to be accompanied by Ms. Wallace and an AFSCME rep, please. All right, and I'll read some words about Ms. Penniman. So Ms. Penniman is the AFSCME 2023-24 Employee of the Year. This is what her principal says about Ms. Penniman. It does not surprise me that Monique Penniman is the AFSCME Employee of the Year. In my book, she is the employee of a lifetime. There are not enough awards or honors that could truly do justice in recognize all that Mo does for our schools and larger community. She is tireless, relentless, reliable, trustworthy, and all heart. She has impacted the lives of countless students, their families, and school staff in such a way that we are all better people just for knowing her. There is a lesson to be learned for all of us as we watch Mo go about her day, interact with people, and grace us all with a smile and warmth. She teaches all of us how to be better human beings. I'm grateful to have the privilege of working beside Monique Penniman every day. Congratulations, 23-24 AFSCME. All right, moving along. Our next employee of the year is Jackie Williams from ATU. Jackie, would you come on, please? And accompanying Jackie is Mr. Black, who is our Director of Transportation. So Jackie joined EGUSD in January of 2000. 24 years ago and counting. Her journey started out as a school bus driver, And in 2019, she became an ATU shop steward until March of 2024. In March of 2024, Jackie became a supervisor in the transportation department. Now let's talk about Jackie the person. Jackie has a strong understanding of business management and leadership principles, and it shows every day. The communication, interpersonal leadership, coaching, and conflict resolution skills are exceptional. She is very easy to talk to and always willing to learn. Her commitment to provide exceptional service to parents, students, and support for all staff members is what makes Jackie the best choice for this award. With all that being said, which only scratches the surface of who Jackie is, congratulations on being the ATU Employee of the Year. All right, our next Employee of the Year is a CSEA employee, Ms. Deborah Caldwell, represented by CSEA. And if Ms. Angela Wardlow, the Vice Principal of Valley, perfect, thank you. And then CSEA, please. All right. Thank you. Ms. Caldwell deserves this recognition this school year because she is humble, hardworking, dedicated, and supportive. Deborah is a long-standing Viking who has made a huge impact on hundreds of students in multiple classrooms as a paraeducator. She is also a strong supporter of Valley's award-winning wrestling team. Deborah Caldwell has earned the trust of many, many students who have come to view her as a kind and fair human being. Mrs. Caldwell pushes the students to make their best effort with whatever they are doing. She is always right there as she challenges the students that she works with to take more risks. She does this because she sees great potential in all Valley students, and she genuinely wants to be the best for each one of them. Deborah Caldwell also deserves this recognition because she is a loyal, positive presence on campus. When you pass Ms. Caldwell in the hallways, you will be met with a warm smile and a friendly greeting. At times, you may even hear her yelling, "Good morning," across campus as she tries to make sure that every person she meets knows that they are seen and welcomed. Mrs. Caldwell is an efficient, creative supporter of all teachers as she works with them to ensure access to complex curriculum. She is not satisfied until every student that she works with understands and can engage in the tasks being asked of them. We are very fortunate to have Ms. Deborah Caldwell as part of the Viking family. She consistently goes above and beyond for the students, the staff, and the Valley Viking community. Congratulations on this very well-deserved recognition, Ms. Caldwell. Our next Employee of the Year is the Educator of the Year, and can I have Ms. Diana Stevenson, please? Thank you, Mr. Benson. Thank you. Dina is an exceptional educator and counselor. Dina's dedication, expertise, and leadership are remarkable. She possesses a deep understanding of counseling techniques and strategies. Dina's experience as a classroom teacher provides unique insight into how to support our staff and students effectively. Dina is well respected as a leader on campus, and her dedication to our Cardinals is evident to all. Her optimistic personality is infectious and immediately puts people at ease. Dina embodies the spirit of excellence and compassion that defines our school community, and we are privileged to have her as a member of our Cardinal family. Congratulations, Ms. Stevenson. All right. Our next Employee of the Year is our Teacher of the Year for 24-25, Ms. Lisa Biokum. All right, and we have our Vice Principal with her. We are all thrilled that Ms. Lisa Biokum has been selected as EGA's Teacher of the Year. Lisa Biokum has been a math teacher at Pleasant Grove High School since the school opened during the 2005-2006 school year. Ms. Biokum is an excellent instructor who shares a passion for mathematics and computer science with her students and colleagues. She stands out not only for being an exceptional educator, but for always thinking of others first, especially students. She's a collaborator, a problem solver, a positive leader who always keeps students at the center of all she does. Ms. Biokum is an outstanding educator who has dedicated her career to supporting students in their academic goals. Ms. Biokum believes in all of her students, even when they don't believe in themselves. She always finds a way for them to learn. The real reward for Ms. Biokum isn't the title. It is the knowledge that she has made a difference, however small, in the lives of those she had the privilege to teach. Thank you, Ms. Biokum, for the countless hours you have spent shaping the future, one lesson, one child at a time. You are truly an inspiration to us all. Congratulations. Mr. Raul, one more for you. All right, our second Teacher of the Year, Miss Laurie Osborne. It is with great excitement that Ms. Osborne is being recognized as the Teacher of the Year. She is so deserving for so many reasons, but primarily because of she is who she is. Ms. Osborne has a strong understanding and foundation of learning to implement curriculum that embeds equitable methods and techniques in her instruction and what students need to excel. She leads with confidence and demonstrated her natural leadership skills in so many ways. Her experiences and knowledge as a dedicated educator have been an invaluable asset to our site, her team, and support system for many of her students and families. Ms. Osborne's impact on her students is unwavering. She has the heart and determination to ensure her students are academically successful and are upstanding citizens beyond Zender Ranch, who in turn also impacts others positively. She is an optimistic and dedicated educator who encourages her students and all those around her to strive for magnitude. We are beyond proud and honored to work alongside her. Congratulations, Ms. Osborne. Very well deserved. All right, our next Employee of the Year is Mr. David Bird. Mr. David Bird, can you come forward? Dave Bird is an individual that leads with passion and commitment. He was given the task of transforming the department he serves, school improvement support, into a functioning reality. Mr. Bird has done this with grace, humor, deep research, and with true care for the staff he's entrusted with each day. His follow-through is spectacular, and he thrives in a work environment that focuses on solving complex problems that prevent our students from succeeding. We appreciate you, Dave, and all that you do for students in EGUSD, and we congratulate you on being honored and recognized as the 23-24 Administrator of the Year. All right. Our next Employee of the Year is an EG Team's Classified Employee of the Year, Miss Jennifer Carlton. Jennifer Carlton. This is your moment. Miss Jan is the heart and soul of the Miwok Village Elementary Administrative Team. With a keen eye for detail, she ensures that every student's needs are met with love and care. Ms. Jan's unwavering dedication to the success of each child is evident in her tireless efforts to ensure that Miwok Village creates a nurturing environment where every student can thrive. Whether it's organizing school events like the opening of the new campus, supporting teachers, or offering a supportive ear to family, Jen goes above and beyond to ensure that every aspect of the school runs smoothly. Her genuine passion for education and her commitment to the well-being of our students make her an invaluable asset to the Grizzly community. Congratulations. All right, our next Employee of the Year is with our NUHW bargaining unit, Ms. Mariah Brazil. Mariah has been the PBIS Behavior Support Specialist Team Lead for the past 6 years. As a manager, I've witnessed firsthand her exceptional skills and dedication in the field of behavior support and PBIS. Mariah is a kind, professional, and knowledgeable individual who excels in her role. She is extremely organized and task-oriented, ensuring all aspects of her work are of the highest quality. Mariah goes above and beyond in her duties, providing behavioral consultation, creating and conducting PBIS and BSS training, and offering supports to other PBIS coaches, behavior support specialists, and numerous departments within the Elk Grove Unified School District. We are excited to be celebrating Mariah as the 23-24 NUHW Employee of the Year, and we are proud to have her representing the NUHW bargaining unit and the entire Student Support and Health Services Department. Congratulations, Mariah. Our next employee is Catherine Kale with our Psychologist School Social Worker Association. Kate's commitment to our students' mental health and well-being has been instrumental in creating a supportive and nurturing environment at Laguna Creek High School. Kate is a professional in all that she does. She is thorough and possesses a high attention to detail. Kate is genuinely student-centered and puts students in the best position for success. Her elegant, empathetic, and caring approach builds trust with staff, students, and families. The Laguna Creek community is fortunate to have Kate as part of our Cardinal family. Congratulations. And finally, we had an employee who couldn't make it, but we feel compelled to honor her nevertheless. So our last employee is Mary Jane Donaldson, and she is part of our EG Teams family. And this is what we have to say about Mary Jane. Mary Jane Donaldson has served the Elk Grove Unified School District for many years and in many capacities. As such, she is an extremely resourceful assistant who has developed and fostered countless relationships with colleagues district-wide. Mary Jane's attention to detail, pleasant demeanor, and can-do positive attitude stand out in just a few of her many qualities. Mary Jane's commitment and dedication to the Elk Grove Unified School District is exemplary, and this recognition is well-deserved. Congratulations, Mary Jane. And with that, thank you so much. That wraps up our Employee of the Year celebration. Yeah, can we have all our honorees to come back and take a joint picture, please?
See if you can get us all.
And families, if you want to come closer, take pictures. After James is done, we'll give you a minute to do that as well. So. Can we guys stay so the families can all come take pictures, please? You can come forward if you need to take a picture. You can come right forward. Yeah. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Okay, Mr. Singh, I'm going to give it another minute to let it kind of clear out before we continue on. They don't know that there's an extra, yeah. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Singh, I'll have you come up to speak about Week of the School Administrator.
Perfect. All right. So this is an honor.
Mr. Singh, hold on one second. If we can have the celebrating continue, that's fine. If we just have you continue in the lobby so we can keep moving with the meeting. Thank you. Okay.
All right. It is my honor to request the board to approve Resolution 25, recognizing the week of October 13th to the 19th as the week of the administrator in Elk Grove Unified School District. Research has demonstrated that district and school leadership is one of the significant dynamics of schools and districts where high achievement occurs for all students, regardless of socioeconomic factors and home language or ethnic diversity. Therefore, in recognition of the dedicated efforts of school and district administrators who make a difference in the lives of children, and to support the work of the teachers and the support staff who work in our schools, the state of California has identified the week of October 13th through the 19th 2024 as the week of the school administrator. It is my honor and privilege to ask the board to approve the resolution determining October 13th to the 19th, 2024 as the week of the school administrator in Elk Grove Unified School District.
I move the
you.
motion.
Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, there are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve Resolution 25, recognizing the week of October 13th through 19th, 2024, as the week of the school administrator in Elk Grove Unified School District.
I move the motion.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Yang and seconded by Mr. Vargas. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Oh, opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mate. Digital Citizenship Week in the Elk Grove Unified School District.
Good evening, President Jamerson, members of the board, Mr. Hoffman. I'm here to talk to you about Digital Citizenship Week. The Board of Education is asked to approve Resolution Number 21-2425, which proclaims the period from October 14th through the 18th of 2024 as Digital Citizenship Week. The California Department of Education designates this week of October 14th as Digital Citizenship Week. It's tough to actually say those together like that. Digital Citizenship Week strives to assist students in gaining the tools to be safe, productive, kind, responsible, and respectful members of online communities and build capacity for students and families to make safe, smart, and ethical decisions in the digital world. With that, we ask the board approve this resolution.
Thank you. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards in this item?
Madam President, there are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve Resolution Number 21, which proclaims the period from October 14th through 18th, 2024, as Digital Citizenship Week. It is hard.
It's harder than you think. Yes, thank you.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Chavez Espinosa and seconded by Mr. Vargas. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And Katie Thomas. There we go. For National Bullying Prevention Month.
Good evening, President Jamerson, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman, Ms. Avalos, and all who have come to support our students. October is National Bullying Prevention Month, a month-long event to prevent childhood bullying and promote kindness, acceptance, and inclusion. The PACER Center is a national organization focused on the principles of parents helping parents, supporting families, providing a safe environment for all children, and working in collaboration with others. In 2006, the PACER Center developed the initial campaign, National Bullying Prevention and Awareness Week, to raise awareness about bullying. Historically, bullying had been viewed as a childhood rite of passage that makes kids tougher. But the reality has always been that bullying can leave a devastating and often long-term effect, such as loss of self-esteem, increased anxiety, and depression for all those involved. The National Bullying Prevention and Awareness Campaign reaches out to communities, schools, and families around the world to educate the need to keep kids safe in school. This campaign is a catalyst for involving a nation to take actions at the local level to create safe and supportive schools, sharing information about the issue through news, media, social media, video, and print publications, promoting dialogue between educators, parents, and students on their roles in addressing and preventing bullying, inspiring everyone to unite for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion, and to help create a world without bullying. It is my honor to ask the board to take action to approve and adopt Resolution Number 13, recognizing the month of October as National Bullying Prevention Month.
Thank you. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, there are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve Resolution Number 24, designating October 9th. Oh, excuse me. Wrong one. Resolution Number 13, recognizing the month of October as National Bullying Prevention Month.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Albiani, seconded by Mr. Forcina. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Coates. Walk and roll to school day.
Maybe the most fun one to
Yes.
say, the walk and roll. Good evening. Excited to be here and ask the board to approve resolution number 24, designating October 9th, 2024 as Walk and Roll to School Day. Walk and Roll to School Day is an international event celebrated by students every October, coordinated by event organizers across the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. This event is registered and shared at www.walkbiketoschool.org. This year, on October 9th, Elk Grove Unified School District elementary schools will participate in Walk and Roll to School Day. On this special day, school staff and community members, with support from our Safe Routes to School coordinator, will organize activities at participating schools. Students and families are encouraged to leave their cars at home and choose an active route to school. Activities include educational sessions on the benefits of walking and biking, participation prizes, and organized walking school buses and bike trains. The event aims to promote physical activity, safety, environmental awareness, and strengthen the bond between schools and the community. It serves as a great opportunity to kickstart ongoing active transportation programs throughout the year. We invite trustees to join our students walking and rolling to school, celebrating at the schools on October 9th. And we now ask the board to consider approval of resolution number 24.
Thank you. Hold on. Thank you. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, there are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve resolution number 24, designating October 9th, 2024 as Walk and Roll to School Day.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Perez and seconded by Mr. Vargas. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And we have Ms. Gerber for United Way campaign.
Good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Hoffman and Ms. Avalos. With me here is Tiffany Buss. She is representing the United Way. I'm going to briefly go over the resolution, and then I'll turn it over to Tiffany here to talk more about the events that United Way does in coordination with Elk Grove Unified. The United Way is an organization dedicated to public service in the fields of education, health, rehabilitation, family, youth and aged counseling, legal aid, and emergency assistance. We ask the board tonight to adopt resolution number 23 and proclaim the period of time between October 1st and October 31st, 2024 as the United Way campaign for the Elk Grove Unified School District.
Good evening, Madam President and Board. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Tiffany Buss. I'm the Resource Development Manager at United Way. I believe I spoke to most of you last year as well. I, again, wanted to thank you and the Elk Grove employees because for over 25 years, you guys have ran a campaign. Last year, employees donated over $16,000 to over 30 nonprofits that are here in the Sacramento region. So that is fantastic, great opportunity to give back to the community. We as a community are stronger because of the things we are able to accomplish together under our 3 pillars: helping kids excel in school, investing in families, and strengthening schools. We have a variety of programs that provide and strengthen our community. One of our most recent programs that we launched in April was the Collegiate Guaranteed Income Program, and that is where 10 former foster youth students at Sacramento State receive $500 a month for 12 months, and that could be for anything that they need. So some students were able to quit their second job so they can focus on their schooling. Some students were able to catch up on rent. Some students were finally able to, catch up on their grocery bills and all of that stuff. And that would not be possible without the partnerships that we have with Elk Grove and all of the other partnerships in the community. And that's really what it is. It's all about the partnerships that we have in the community. So I would really appreciate it if you guys would pass this motion, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, there are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve resolution number 23, which proclaims the period of October 1st through October 31st, 2024 as the United Way campaign.
So move.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Yang, seconded by Mr. Perez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, student expulsion involuntary transfer recommendations. Request for return from expulsion. I would like to call for a motion to approve the request for return from student expulsion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Vargas and seconded by Mr. Yang. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comment for items not on the agenda. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards?
Madam President, yes, we do have a few blue cards. So we will start with Susan Mason, followed by Laura Quinones. Do we have Susan Mason? Wonderful. And Laura, if you want to come up and wait behind her, we can keep this moving. Wonderful.
Good evening, Board President Jamerson, board members, Superintendent Hoffman, and Ms. Avalos. My name is Susan Mason, and I'm here representing Elk Grove American Legion Post 233. Because it's Constitution Day, I'm here tonight to announce that Elk Grove Post 233 will offer the Legion High School Scholarship, Oratorical Scholarship Program, also known as the Constitutional Speech Contest. I have provided you with some of the promotional brochures, trifold brochures, and official rules for 2025. This contest was first offered by the American Legion in 1938, so over 80 years, to encourage high school students to develop a deeper knowledge of the U.S. Constitution, to develop public speaking skills, and to develop and to understand the duties, responsibilities, privileges, and rights of American citizenship. The national competition first place winner is awarded $25,000. The contest, though, however, starts at the post level. So Post 233 first offered this contest 2 years ago, and we had one student apply. So that student won first place, $300 award, and was eligible to advance to the next level competition. Had there been a second place winner, that would have been a $200 award, third place winner, $100 award. So right now I am waiting, I'm chairing this competition for the first time for Post 233, and I'm waiting for the district and the area and the department dates of their contest before I finalize a flyer and kind of looking into the application process. And once I get that all together, I'll submit it to the district secondary education department for approval and distribution. But I had it on my heart to bring it to your attention today on Constitution Day. I'm hoping that you as board members will encourage students in your trustee areas to look into this contest, participate, and it's a great scholarship opportunity. So that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
So we are not permitted to ask questions or engage during public comment for items not on the agenda.
That's right, I forgot.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And if
Okay.
you have any questions or want to engage with the administration, we have your email and
Thank you.
we'll follow up.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up, Laura, followed by Kirk.
Good evening, Madam President and Board. My name is Laura Quinones-Neri, and I'm here with my colleague.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle, and I just wanted to say that I have been born and raised within Elk Grove Unified School District, and I've shaken some of your guys' hands on my high school graduation, but I'm very excited to tell you guys more about our program.
Yeah, so we are here with the California UC Cooperative Extension, and we are part of the CalFresh Healthy Living UC program. We actually got funding from CDSS to start our program in 2022, so we're going into our third year of programming, and we've been partnering with Elk Grove Unified School District in several capacities since the beginning of our program. So primarily, we have been working with expanded learning, and we're kind of seeing it through with this transition to the subcontractors. What we do is primarily provide nutrition education, gardening programming, and also some physical activity programming for youth. So CalFresh Healthy Living is a statewide program, and it's administered through the counties, as I mentioned. As a University of California program, our mission is to deliver the latest science, research, and educational curricula to communities in a practical and immediate way. And the way that we do that, as we mentioned, is partnering with several organizations here in the community. So most recently, one of our really great efforts that we've been doing is we've been partnering with Elk Grove Unified School District to pool teenagers from several high schools, specifically Florin, Monterey Trails, Valley High, and Laguna Creek. They've been participating in our Teens as Teachers program, where they attend a 2-day, 10-hour training that prepares them to later on go on and deliver and facilitate cooking curriculum for 4th through 6th graders in the expanded learning program. So this program has been going on for 3 years. We wanted to let you guys know a little bit about that and what we do in our community. We've also partnered with Michelle Drake for health fairs, and we're hoping to gain some interest for our in-class nutrition education programming. I'm looking at the clock. And what we want to do is just mention that our curriculum is aligned with Common Core standards, make you guys aware of it, and then hopefully get in contact with the correct people to get our curriculum approved for in-class use at a district level. So just to plug our Cooking Academy program, as I mentioned, it's a 6-week after-school cooking program. The 4th through 6th graders get real knives, and that's because we absolutely train our teenagers to be responsible. They work in partnership with the expanded learning staff to facilitate the program, and of course, CalFresh Healthy Living staff. It's a great program. I'm happy to share more about that with you guys in the future. We've also brought some binders that are prepared with information about the Up For It curriculum, which is our in-class curriculum, and how it aligns with the Common Core standards in ways that we can get involved with supporting your school with taste testings, guest lessons, and anything else that you guys might need. But we just want to let you know that we're here, we're doing some work in your school, and we would love to do more.
Thank you very much. Next up is Kirk, followed by Lynn Wheat.
Hi, so I'm here today to discuss some good news coming from the board lately. We'll be discussing one of those good things later on in the meeting, but I wanted to call out progress within our district, even when knowledge and moral clarity arrives late. I recently heard that one of our bargaining partners has finally decided to end the practice of racial discrimination and that they will no longer be making internal appointments based on race. While it is a shame that it has come to getting federal courts involved to change this practice, which I'm sure wasted a lot of union dues and revenues, it's always better late than never. This was something not listed on today's agenda, but much like we'll discuss later in the evening, I wanted to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. Sometimes we don't realize that the road to hell is paved with good intentions until you're paying out $12,000 in attorney's fees. So I wanted to make sure that we called some attention to the progress that's being made within the district and the units that are working within the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Lynn Wheat, followed by Heidi Moore.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Wheat, and as a retired school nurse, advocate, and mayoral candidate, I wanted to speak to you regarding a matter I find of great concern. One of the city leaders running for re-election has accepted $2,500 from RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company. Like you, I believe in a healthy community and want our children to be healthy. Just this morning, I read an article citing research indicating the progress that has been made nationally in addressing e-cigarette use in our young people. I reviewed several reports and copied the California Healthy Kids Survey fact sheet on the trends of cigarette, e-cigarettes, and marijuana use. There are key takeaways I'd like to share. Strong headway has been made in decreasing cigarette use among high school students. Progress has been made in combating the use of e-cigarettes, but that progress has been stalled for 2 years. They remain more popular than cigarettes and may be gaining popularity in some racial ethnic groups. Of the delivery systems and substances examined, marijuana is still the most popular overall and amongst different racial ethnic groups. Additionally, decline in use may be slowing for many racial ethnic groups and for this age group as a whole. Elk Grove Unified School District Youth Development Services supports tobacco education of our youth through various programs. We have seen positive results through these programs. I believe it is important for our elected city leaders, school district, and CCSD to continue to collaborate and work together to promote healthy students and a healthy community. I just think that taking tobacco money sends out the wrong message to our youth and the entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. And last up is Heidi Moore.
Good evening. I would like to thank the district for listening to concerned parents regarding your secret lunchtime club held at Pleasant Grove Elementary and other elementary schools throughout the district. It is certainly positive that you have finally listened and appropriately responded to concerned parents. Requiring permission slips for all elementary school clubs, regardless of the time of day, is essential to ensuring that parents are always informed partners in their kids' education and school activities. Children belong to parents. Parents love their children and know them best. Parents are best situated to make important decisions for their children's health, safety, and well-being. We are a diverse district, and we need to ensure that we are respecting all students, families, parents, and staff. I would like to see added verbiage to the policy that ensures parents are given full details for each club and that those details be posted publicly on school websites and shared with parents in information packets at the beginning of each school year. I'm happy with the end result, but would like to note that you seem to exclude parents from the process for creating a new policy. I noticed on your slide titled Review and Analysis Team and Support that there was no indication of parent participation in this process. Our district has 63,000 students, yet you had at most 20 responses from student or staff ID numbers to your survey. In your presentation, you don't indicate if any parents even responded at all. As we've seen with previous examples of district policy implementation, this shows your lack of proper communication and ineffective efforts to elicit parent participation. You will not elicit parent participation when you dump an entire proposed policy through an email link. Parents are too busy and get overwhelmed to read the entire policy and construct an open-ended response. Instead, you should create basic questions that would elicit pertinent information to help you shape your policy and give you the feedback you need. In closing, I'd like to thank you for taking this important step toward improved transparency and communication with parents. I hope that this can be the first of many improvements that you make to recognize that parents expect this school district to allow them to be partners in their children's education. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is our last blue card on this item.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Do we have any blue cards on this item?
There are no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve items 1 through 27 on the consent agenda.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Perez. I would like to call for a motion to approve items 4 through 27 on the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Charis Espinosa, seconded by Mr. Yang. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Perez.
The issue I have with these items 1, 2, and 3 are exactly what was stated earlier. We, as a board, do not get sign-off by the California School Board Association, School Services, legal support of our Elk Grove Unified School District unit, and also Elk Grove Unified Union membership. And most of all, parents, students, and our community members do not give or have say-so or are engaged within these policies that we are going to be voting on. It's very important as parents and students and union membership especially, because that affects you. A lot of the stuff that these 3 items that we are talking about tonight are resolutions, board policies of school trustees requesting updates and policies, education, and English language learners. So again, I do not support policies that have not been approved or gone by our legal unit, our California School Board Association, and the unions and parents and students. Thank you.
So for clarity, we partner with CSBA on all the policies. We certainly engage our labor partners with ideas that are specific to them, and like with the issue we're doing with the clubs later, when there's opportunities for parents to engage, we do that as well. So,
well, I would feel a lot more comfortable if that was stated in the actual language of these issues, item number 1, 2, and 3, but they're not stated. So to make sure that that happens, we need to put that within the context of these resolutions, policies, and et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move to approve items 1, 2, and 3 on the consent agenda.
It's been moved by Ms. Albiani and seconded by Mr. Vargas to approve items 1 through 3 on the consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Motion carries. Bargaining units. Do we have any bargaining units who wish to address the board this evening? Okay. All right, action items. Mr. Cerruti. Club policies.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening to you, to all the board, Superintendent Hoffman and Ms. Avalos. Very much appreciate the opportunity to bring 2 board policies to you for consideration. They're updated policies for consideration of approval. Thank you, Steve. The purpose of policy updates is to ensure that we do remain consistent and in alignment with the California School Board Association. And updating policies and regulations is when I say routine, that doesn't mean it's not important, but it is a very common practice and procedure that we use, and it's a standardized procedure. Just want to point out that the district's standardized review and updating process may adjust in terms of the engagement of educational partners, and by the term educational partners, we're referring to our students, our parents and guardians, our staff, and the community. And there may be instances where certain policies have a heightened level of interest, and in those instances, we take direction from the school board on whether or not we go out and further engage the community in getting their feedback, or our educational partners rather, their feedback. There's always the opportunity to provide feedback on any board policy via blue card at board meetings. We've done this previously where we've reached out to the community and we've had community involvement in just a few of those policies, our discipline policy, our roles and responsibilities of school administrators and law enforcement relative to student behavior, library media centers and selection and evaluation of instructional materials. So we've done this previously when the situation warrants and the board provides that direction. Just in terms of differentiating policy and regulation, in short, policies confirm the why. It's typically a broad rationale, and the regulations confirm the how and the what, which is the more operational detail. Not all policies have regulations, and there are a few regulations that don't have accompanying policies. Most often, there's a policy and an accompanying regulation. The Board of Education approves policies, and the superintendent approves the regulations. Considerations when we're working on policies and updating policies, we look at the applicability to federal and all applicable federal and state laws. We look at current policies, regulations, and accompanying exhibits. We look at our collective bargaining agreements. We wouldn't want any inconsistencies if we were making things operational that may conflict with our collective bargaining agreements. We look at current operational practices, and in some instances like this one, we look at educational partner feedback. And again, there's two things, and I probably should have added them on here, which is we look for, and it's not just looking for alignment. Typically when policies are updated, they're updated by California School Board Association, and there's a person that is in the superintendent's office who forwards those on to the applicable staff. And so the reason I'm sharing this information before we just jump into the specific policies is just so folks in the community understand the policies are what drive our operations, and so it's a very, very important thing that we do. And I just wanted to give folks a bit of a sense of what that is. And also, there's always consideration of legal guidance and support as it's warranted in these processes. The review and analysis team, you see district administration, district legal counsel in this case, school administration and staff, the Elk Grove Education Association leadership consultation. We very much appreciate their involvement with this and their feedback, and then the educational partner feedback. The timeline, the work began back in February, and it brought us up to today, September 17th. Just wanted to point out that there were 3 opportunities for parental feedback, and we realized when we were going through the work that the timing of the feedback was based upon where we were with the work. Once we thought we had final drafts, then that's the opportunity to bring those drafts for feedback. And you can see in June, from June 10th to the 14th, and again the 24th through the 28th, we knew that that probably was not going to be optimal. Our year-round schools, for example, they never stop. They have the first 2 weeks of July, but otherwise they're going. And so it's not as if school is shut down during that time, but it certainly is a time where we would understand that parents and kids in particular and some staff may not be as tuned into school as they typically would be. Plus, there were some adjustments that were made in August. And so we brought it for a third time for that feedback. And then just briefly, a summary of the revisions. For 6145, specific to extracurricular and co-curricular activities, we focused on the inclusive nature of extracurricular activities. We refined that language, and we also refined some language specific to prerequisites that may apply to participation. For the 6145 regulation, we updated a definition of extracurricular activities. We added the process for authorizing those activities and ensuring that on our websites that there's consistent information and it's in a consistent location. What we don't want is we don't want parents who may have a child at an elementary school and a middle school and possibly a high school, and then to go to each of those schools looking for that information and trying to find it in different locations on the website. So it'll be a consistent format and in a consistent location. We're looking at updated language specific to supervision, and we're also then looking at the added provision for parent permission TK6 at the elementary level. And for policy 6145.5, specific to student organizations and equal access, we shifted some language from sponsor to recognize, and the reason for that is there could be confusion regarding what the role of the sponsor is. Recognize makes that clearer. We added a provision for administrative consideration for requests for extracurricular activities. And when it says absent a demographic plan to form student-initiated organizations are actually highly regulated through the associated student body, both how they function as well as the budgetary implications that may come with that. They're much more common. Student-initiated organizations are far more common. They're very common at the secondary level and in particular high schools. Not so at the elementary level, but in fact it is a possibility. And so this is just indicating, it provides some information about how that actually can take place. And then 6145, the regulation, we did a language shift again related to the term sponsor. And then we added the permission in the regulation also regarding parent permission at the elementary level. And just a bit of information regarding the survey itself. Surveys were developed for each of the two documents. Student parents and guardians and staff were required to provide an ID. And as it's noted, this wasn't for purposes of limiting access, but it was to, in a sense, limit the responses to our educational partners in Elk Grove. And then the survey response structure had a pre-populated response, meaning a drop-down, and we were really looking for, is the document clear and is there clarity? And then there was an open-ended option for all of those, and there was no character limit, so the respondents could respond in any way they felt necessary to provide their feedback. The survey respondents are as noted, the numbers are as noted, and this is actually cumulative over the three opportunities. And then in terms of the final action, before we just jump into that and I ask for your respectfully ask for your consideration of approval, should the policies be approved, there are several steps that need to be taken prior to the new club's beginning, and the work has been underway. But as of today, there are 58 new clubs that are ready to begin. There are 30 at the secondary level, or I'm sorry, 38 at the secondary level and 20 at the elementary level. And I tip my hat to the staff because they're stepping up to provide wonderful opportunities for our kids. Those steps include standardizing the club information and information location, as I mentioned, on the websites. So that work is already underway. Finalizing the standardized elementary permission form. Currently, in past practice, it was the individual advisor to the club who would provide the permission for before or after school. We're going to standardize that permission form. And then it's also meeting with our principals and make sure that they fully understand how to operate and manage our clubs, and most do, but just to ensure that they're compliant with policy. And then notifying parents once we're up and running. So there's a little work to do. We're optimistic we'll be able to get this done so these clubs can get going within a couple of weeks in early October, around October 1st. And with that, I respectfully ask the board to give consideration to the approval of these two updated policies. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cerruti. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Yes, we do. All right, let's start with Scott Greger, followed by Rick Atkinson.
Good evening. My name's Scott Greger. I have 3 sons that go to the Pleasant Grove Elementary School. And I'm really here tonight because I'd like the board to consider adopting these updated policies. I was part of the group that came and spoke before you at the end of last school year. The events that took place, in particular at Pleasant Grove Elementary School, directly affected my children and our family, and I would say has even changed the way that our family functions. Probably, I think, a little bit prematurely, but certainly it's a step in the right direction, and I appreciate the district and the board to dedicate the time and the thought to go into making these policy changes. It'd be a positive step. Unfortunately, I think there's some damage that's already been done. There's certainly been some loss of trust. I speak with parents that I see in the community weekly, at least, that have removed their children from the public schools, and they're choosing to do homeschooling simply because they didn't like the way that this was initially handled. So it would be positive, and yeah, please consider adopting these policies.
Thank you. Next up is Rick Atkinson, followed by Olivia Gibson.
Hi, my name's Rick Atkinson. How you guys doing? So finally, I understand you guys might adopt a policy that in a way that I agree with. Usually I come up here and I have something that I need to tell you that I strongly disagree with. And you know, this is the most clearly obvious common sense thing to have parent permission, to adopt a policy that requires parent permission. And I don't think that we'd even be talking about this if it weren't for the fact that one of the clubs had questionable content, you know, and especially for maturity levels and age levels that may not be able to process that content. Okay, and so please adopt this policy. It's anything that you do that is in secret or without parent permission or sneaky, it should make you feel yucky and guilty, and as well it should make you feel that way. And so it just makes it right. It gives parents a chance to say, nope, it's not for my kid. And that's what I highly appreciate that. So thank you, and I hope you do adopt this.
Thank you. Next up is Olivia Gibson, followed by Mandy Lynn.
Hello, my name is Olivia Gibson, and I am a senior at Pleasant Grove High School. Earlier this year, I tried to officially begin a club known as the Care Bears Club. We wanted to create hygiene kits for those in need and engage in community service and volunteering at different organizations. However, we were informed of a vague ban on establishing new clubs. Not only was this ban inaccessible unless you ask our activities director, but it came without warning nor reasoning for this ban. Limiting student expression on campus for high schoolers is not only overbroad, but is viewpoint discrimination, which, under the First Amendment, may be unconstitutional. I called the EGUSD twice myself, and both times was not given any specific information regarding the ban, nor reasoning onto why this ban occurred in the first place. This is unfair to students and club ideas that are worth being expressed. My club has been banned since early July of this year and still has not progressed further due to this obstacle. We already have 3 organizations interested in helping our idea, various homeless shelters and organizations honoring to distribute our kits once they're made. Not only for my club, but for all others fighting this well, we deserve a chance to better our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mandy Lynn, followed by Jonathan Fraley.
Madam Chair, can we ask staff to follow up with the student since we can't respond?
Hello, and hello to the board. I'm Mandy Lynn. I'm a student at Laguna Creek High School. I'm the current president of the American Red Cross Club at Laguna Creek High School. and I'm here to support the other Red Cross clubs in this district. As previously mentioned, there's been a ban on new clubs, specifically even for clubs that belong to an organization, a non-school personnel organization. For me, I find this ban to be very limiting, especially in terms of opportunities for students to explore interests outside of school. A lot of subjects at school aren't tailored to students' needs. And for example, for the American Red Cross Club, we have opportunities to advocate for international humanitarian law through the Youth Action Campaign for those who potentially want to explore the Red Cross's line of service. And I ask that the school board lift this ban, so this way school clubs can continue giving opportunities to students, especially in school and both outside of school. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jonathan Fraley, followed by Greg Bart.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Fraley, and I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here.
Can I ask you just to lift the microphone up a little bit? That way we can record you. Thank you.
I'm a senior at Laguna Creek High School, as well as a club officer of my school's American Red Cross Club. I'm here to ask you as the board to allow outside organization clubs to exist in order to ensure we are gaining proper exposure to leadership and professionalism through these organizations. I often pride my school and its students in the fact that there are so many people who share a similar need to be a leader. Alongside Red Cross, I'm also president of my school's Asian Youth Leadership, which is also waiting to be approved, and I see many of my fellow students in leadership positions for clubs like National Honor Society, Girls Who Code, and Key Club. It gives me a sense of hope to see more youth using opportunities that specifically cater to their interests while making connections with others who share similar aspirations and work ethics. These opportunities enhance our ability to build unique skills that we would not otherwise be given by clubs that aren't directly supported by national level groups that look towards giving high school students like myself both an outlet and a platform to succeed. Outside of gaining access to knowledge and skills that will help them in their future fields, it opens the door to many possibilities that are immensely beneficial for our futures. These include scholarships, internships, recommendations, connections with professionals, and additions to college apps and resumes. Additionally, many credit these clubs for offering them a community they feel welcomed in and embraced by welcoming diversity and inclusion and allowing members to build connections with students sharing ambitions. In the time I've held my position as a Red Cross officer, I've already built connections with students outside of my own club, as well as ones bridging to students outside of my district, granting me a heightened sense of community with individuals I would not have been previously able to without Red Cross. Many clubs to be permitted revolve around community service and enrichment, and students who rely on these clubs to have a better understanding of their own power as a leader will no longer be able to do so. So I ask again that you consider the powerful opportunities given to us that would be continued with these clubs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Greg Bart, followed by Rebecca Amico.
Good evening. My name is Greg Burt, an Elk Grove parent and the Vice President of the California Family Council. And I'm here today to express my appreciation for your decision to listen to the parents after concerns were raised about the formation of elementary school clubs related to sexual orientation and gender identity, clubs created without informing parents. This issue is deeply important because as parents, we entrust our children to the school system with the expectation that their well-being will be prioritized and that transparency will guide every decision on their behalf. It was disturbing to learn that clubs with sensitive topics such as sexual orientation, gender identity, were established without any communication with parents. When such decisions are made without parental involvement, it threatens the very trust that binds parents and schools together. We're grateful that you ultimately responded to the parents' voices, but I must say that it shouldn't have taken a threat of legal action and national press coverage to prompt this response. Parental rights should never have been up for debate. The lack of transparency has damaged the relationship schools have with parents, and rebuilding that trust is going to require deliberate and meaningful steps. So moving forward, I believe there are 3 clear steps the board can take to mend this broken trust. So number 1, first, allow parents to attend these club meetings whenever they wish. This ensures that parents are informed and engaged in their children's education in real time. Second, not only should you require parental permission for children to join these clubs, but also mandate permission when third-party organizations or speakers are invited to these clubs. Parents deserve to know who is influencing their children. And thirdly, provide a detailed list of the club's purpose, materials, activities for the parents. This transparency is crucial in allowing families to make informed decisions about their children's participation. By implementing these changes, you will take significant steps toward rebuilding the trust that you've lost with parents. But on the other hand, if schools continue to keep secrets or bypass parental involvement, I believe you will find that parents will abandon your schools, or worse, move away from the district altogether. So it's time for schools and parents to work together once again for the good of our children. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Rebecca Amico, followed by Dean Broyles.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak this evening. You've already heard from 2 of my Red Cross Club officers. My name is Rebecca Amico. I'm the Youth Program Manager for the California Gold Country region of the American Red Cross. Our region starts at the Oregon border, ocean to Nevada, all the way down to Sacramento, and then eastward towards Modesto. We have a huge geographic area with 1,800 volunteers, and 500 of them are in Red Cross clubs. I think it's most important that I point out 2 of our guiding principles, which are impartiality and neutrality. So our interest in the club policy is not related in any way to content of other clubs or how controversial it may be. This is a service-oriented organization, and I have had the extreme privilege of working with not only these officers, but 100 others who are not able to be here this evening. And they started working on their clubs in July with 2 days of camp, lots of communication since then. They learned from all of our lines of service how to operate a club. Everything they do is outward facing. Last year in the 23-24 school year, 2 clubs held blood drives that collected over 50 units of blood with the potential to save 150 lives. They learned how to educate their peers and communities about disaster preparedness, something we are definitely not a stranger to in our region. Last year, these youth put in almost 3,000 hours. This year, between July and today, they are already at 2,500 volunteer hours in preparing their clubs. We have 2 clubs right now that, as you've heard from others, are subject to the ban on clubs that are regulated or managed by outside organizations. And we're here tonight to urge you to consider how that affects the Red Cross Club and any other clubs that serve a nonprofit and serving organization. They will also be educating their peers and community about international humanitarian law. This year's theme, IHL and space. I've learned tons about what the Space Force actually does, and it's so very important. So they will learn that. They will also be either teaching hands-only CPR or hosting blood drives to collect more of that life-saving blood. Of those 500 youth volunteers, there's 1 paid staff, and that's me. This is so volunteer-driven, and these are the most amazing youth that I've ever worked with in 20 years of Girl Scouts, music teaching, and other things. So please, we urge you tonight to consider lifting the ban on clubs managed or regulated by outside organizations, especially those that serve others. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Dean Broyles, followed by Mary Congdon.
Trustees, Superintendent Hoffman, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Dean Broyles. I'm a constitutional attorney with the National Center for Law and Policy, and I've been corresponding with the district about club policies since March 21st of this year. I want to thank the district for taking seriously parents' concerns about the lack of transparency about the rollout of the UBU and Rainbow clubs in elementary schools. Legally, parents have the fundamental right and duty to direct the education, care, and raising of their children. This right is protected by the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and over 100 years of U.S. Supreme Court precedent. The U.S. constitutional rights that are given to parents supersede all state laws and school district policies to the contrary. It's the highest law in the land. Parents love and know their children best and are best situated to make important decisions about their health, safety, and welfare. In America, we still protect the freedom of conscience and the freedom of religion. The state does not have the authority to decide what is orthodox in religion, politics, human sexuality, nor force students, parents, or families to affirm by word or actions their commitment to the government's preferred viewpoints. Parents are the primary educators of their children, and the district must tolerate and respect the diverse views in this community, the different beliefs and viewpoints, even if the district or individual teachers disagree with them. Thank you for giving parents the right to opt their children out of the elementary school campus clubs. This gives parents the authority to decide what activities are age appropriate before their child participates. However, best practices, and I'm a subject matter expert on student clubs on public school campuses, by the way. Best practices are that an opt-in be in writing and signed by at least one parent to avoid confusion over verbal consent. That's not clear in the policies or the regulations currently. Parents deserve informed consent. Parents should at least know what the principal knows about the clubs, not less. Therefore, we ask that the policies and regulations be clarified so that all club details are posted on the school website and in parent information packets. The information given to parents should include what activities will be a part of the club, including topics discussed, materials and books used, and details about outside speakers. With these minor modifications, I wholeheartedly agree that the proposed elementary school club policy changes and regulations are good. Thank you for partnering with parents and honoring their primary role in their children's lives.
Thank you. Next up is Mary Congdon, followed by Kirk.
Good evening. My name is Mary Congdon. I have 3 boys that go to Pleasant Grove Elementary School, and I'm here to voice an in-person huge thank you to the Elk Grove Unified School District Board for listening to parents' concerns regarding transparency around the rainbow clubs in our elementary schools. Our children are called dependents for a reason, because we're the parents. They depend on us because we have fully developed brains. As the parent, it's important that my role in my child's education is respected. We're the authority to agree or disagree to what is an age-appropriate club or not. We're the authority to decide which club aligns with our family's beliefs morally and or religiously. Whereas the school district's role should have only one single goal for our children, and that is to prepare them for the real world educationally. We had hoped the secret UBU club would be eliminated entirely from our Elk Grove elementary schools. However, I'm glad that at the very least, the district is releasing this new opt-in policy as a compromise. In addition to the new opt-in policy, I suggest clarify that the consent must be a written one, signed by at least one parent or guardian in order to avoid confusion over any possible loopholes of a verbal consent. The only other recommendation I have is that parents and guardians be given the same information about the clubs that's provided to the principal so that they can make informed decisions about their child's participation. This information should include club activities, books and materials used, and information about outside speakers. I appreciate the steps the district is taking to ensure that families are informed and involved in these decisions, and I look forward to continued collaboration between parents and guardians in the Elk Grove Unified School District. Thank you again for your efforts and for respecting the diverse perspectives of our community and putting our 14th Amendment parental rights to the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Kirk, followed by Amelina.
Hi. I started attending these board meetings back in April of 2023, and from the first day I showed up, I've had very little to appreciate from this board and administration. Today's updates to the club policy has given me a reason to come here today to say something I didn't think I'd ever say to any panel of elected officials. Thank you. This is really the first time I feel like this board has taken my concerns seriously and then addressed them directly. While this policy isn't exactly what I wanted down to the last detail, I can show appreciation when people realize they cross the line and do the best they can to correct a mistake. My main concern was always being notified. My first grade son has been hurt on the playground. 2 out of the last 4 days he's been at school. He rubbed some dirt on it, went back and played. I still got notified. That's what I'm talking about. And this club policy really should be a no-brainer. So please, I really want to come here and complain about things like funding priorities, things like paraeducator pay, athletic funding, and how my son's school has a terrible intercom system. I hope this is the first step towards allowing parents like me to come here less as a concerned dad and more as a huge nerd. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Amelina, followed by Jed Brown.
That's me, Amelina. So I just didn't write anything, but I just come to say that having transparency with parents in your district, it's your duty. It's the right thing. Like Judge Judy say, you know, if you have nothing to hide, you hide nothing. So, you know, in regards to this, the clubs in the school, you know, I can see definitely, you know, in high school level, it's awesome because, you know, club is supposedly the student starts the club, not the teacher. In elementary is the other way around. The teacher has to start the club. So how do you know that the students are interested in a particular club? Then you're quite biased about it. It's like, oh, I want this club for my students and I'm going to start one. So I don't see the need for a club really in elementary level. I just don't. That's my personal, you know, opinion here. However, if there are clubs, like we know that there are clubs in elementary level, oh, heck yeah. You want the parents to know exactly what kind of club it is, what they're going to do, activities, in everything, every single detail. And if, you know, even if the parents can be part of the club. So, you know, I'm glad that some steps are been taken regarding a policy that for all clubs, you know, not exceptions here and there, like we've seen, you know, happen here in our district. And I mean, we're all gonna be happy because if the parents think that this club is great for their kids, they're gonna sign them up. You know, they're gonna even probably contribute material stuff for the club because they believe it's a good thing. So, you know, I just find it fascinating that some people thought that they could keep this away from the kids, and then with what intention? Because they thought the parents were going to say no? Oh, really? So, and in the district, you know, what it took for you to get to this point, that's scary because, yeah, you have broken trust, and this trust needs to be built back. So, you know, I'm here today to say I'm glad that some steps have been taken forward to have these policies in place. Of course, it's always room for improvement. And to you as a board members, you know, to not forget what is your role, what is your duty, and do just that. And sometimes, though, your decision is not going to make everybody happy, but at least you know that you're sitting there because there is a purpose for you to act, in your potential and do what you ought to do, the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jed Brown.
Good evening, members of the school board. My name is Jed Brown, pastor of Grace Church in Elk Grove. Well, we appreciate the changes that you made to the policy in response to Dean Broyle's letter from March 29th. You added protections for students and parents. These were much needed, and these are appreciated. However, some of the wording is vague, and one wonders if this is intentional, to allow a wider latitude of interpretation than our parents would have liked. Then this week, you gave us more occasion for skepticism in the appearance of one of your trustees on the 6 o'clock CBS News. There we heard Trustee Vargas state this board's stance on LGBTQ issues that are not even addressed in this policy. He stated, for the board, we don't think it's our job to out students to their parents. This statement shows the deeper concern that our parents have with our school district's approach to our children. It is tantamount to saying we, the school district, have the primary responsibility of interacting and counseling the children in our district, not the parents or the child's pediatrician. If asked by a parent of one of our students, the school staff have the right and responsibility to withhold known facts about that student from the prying eyes of the parent. Not only do we believe this violates federal law, but it also violates natural law spanning the centuries. God gave 3 spheres of authority to the world: the government, the church, and the family. While there is some overlap in these spheres, you overstep your bounds. You are assuming an authority and a responsibility that was never given to you, but to parents. Therefore, we strongly disagree with this stance, and we believe that federal law will rule in our favor and not in the favor of the district. If the school district continues with this kind of stance, I would advise all parents to take all actions necessary to remove your children from this district. Do not give your children over to those who bear no responsibility for the consequences of their actions. Thank you.
Madam President, that is all of the blue cards on this item.
Thank you very much. My board members, do you have questions or comments for the presentation for Mr. Sturdy? I'll start with, I'm going to start this way with Mr. Perez.
She's the chair.
Yes, she is the chair. There's a few issues I have with this policy, and I spoke to Superintendent Hoffman about it, and that is policy 6145, and it was regarding the maintenance of minimum of a 2.0 grade point average. After talking to him, I was agreeing with him. Then I was reviewing my notes that I had, and I felt that this 2.0 grade point average, in order to participate in school clubs, discriminates against low achieving students. Period. It discriminates, I think, with foster youth, childs of active duty military families, homeless students, because we know that a lot of these students are lower achievers because they do not attend school. So, and as a result of that, and there is some clubs that are outreaching these students, I feel, to participate and engage with them to improve their academic skills. So that's why I feel that this issue regarding 2.0 grade point language should be deleted from this policy. And a little bit further down in this first page of this document, it says, any decision regarding the eligibility of a homeless student, foster youth, or child of an active duty military family for EA or IA shall be made by the superintendent. I don't agree with that policy also, or a designee. Well, who is that designee? We have a lot of foster youth. We have a lot of students, that are in this category, and I think that's going to present a problem. It should be these students should be eligible regardless, and they should participate in our school clubs. And so I'm wondering if it is constitutional. Is it discriminatory? I feel that it is.
The policy specifically points out that there's exceptions.
The other thing I want to say is that, hold on here, I'm not finished.
I know, but you do one question and then you go on so everybody can understand what you said. So there are exceptions built into the policy around that, specific to the students that you identified.
So, again, the review and analysis team and support. Maybe I should have suggested we should have a sign-off sheet who has reviewed this and did an analysis and just sign their name and date it that they agree with this, they have no issues with it. And so I would feel comfortable, and I think my fellow board members would feel comfortable in approving this particular new club policies. I think we have gone a far way since this incident has arrived since last year. And so I'm proud of our staff who participated and fellow board members and our community members who participated and gave input. But again, we need to look further about these grade point averages. Like I said, I think it discriminates against low achieving students. Thank you.
Mr. Fortuna?
Yeah, before I begin, I have a question to Mr. Vargas. Mr. Vargas, did you in fact make a statement this past week on behalf of the entire Board of Education or on behalf of yourself?
No, I was speaking on behalf of the district because they had asked for a comment from the district, and I had gotten all of that. I had spoken with Lisa ahead of time, and so she had answered a lot of those questions for me. And the full quote, if you want it, is that I said we don't believe it's our job to out students, which as of a few months ago is actually state policy. And so it is not. I can now state with certainty that it is now state policy that it is not our jobs to out students. But the full quote was also included a comment that what we try to accomplish when a student comes to us with a problem or comes to us and there is a disagreement between what the parent believes and what the student feels, then it's our job to help that student find a safe place on campus in which to have difficult conversations or potentially difficult conversations with family.
Thank you. I would ask in the future, if you're asked to speak, irrespective of who you check with, if I'm going to be included as a member of the Board of Education, then I would expect that you would respect me and ask for my opinion first.
Well, in the absence of the president, the vice president can speak on behalf of the district.
You don't want to make an issue of this one, Michael.
Did you have any further?
Thank you.
Was that your only question?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's really funny, isn't it, Michael? That's your problem. You don't take things seriously, and you don't take people seriously. and that's too bad. There's with respect to the policy and administrative regulation revisions, they were certainly born out of missteps that occurred that were unfortunate because they do deal with an issue of trust. However, that being said, there is good that has come out of this, and that what we have now are standard procedures for the district, not just for elementary, not just for secondary, but for the whole district, and that's good. And that I'm very happy about. There seems to be a lot of thank yous going on and congratulations going on. But there's some misunderstandings. The Board of Education is going to vote whether or not it approves or disapproves of the proposed policies and administrative regulations. But the fact that these were taken up was the superintendent's. The board approves the policy. The superintendent and his staff review policy and bring suggestions to the board. So while it's nice to hear people say thank you to the board, and I appreciate that because we don't get that very often, the recognition really lies with the superintendent and the superintendent's staff in this particular issue.
Mr. Forcina, just one clarification. The board will be approving the board policies.
Right, not the administrative regulation.
Make sure.
Correct. That's yours to do. For the sake of time, I'm not going to bring up a couple of areas that I have discomfort with, because it's both a matter of legal opinion as well as state law. Since the majority of the revisions support beliefs that have been shared with me by constituents, I will be voting yes to the proposed changes, and I hope that with additional reminders and education of our staff, the missteps that occurred will not occur in the future. Thank you.
Ms. Chavez-Espinosa.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I want to thank the staff and everyone involved in the development of this policy, including, of course, the parents and students who provided input. And I am going to support the proposed policy. I think it strikes the right balance between the rights of parents and the rights of students. And I know it's upsetting for some people to hear that the rights of parents and students may ever be in opposition to each other, but unfortunately that is sometimes the case. And we as a board are responsible for upholding both. So I appreciate that the proposed policy really maximizes the rights of both to the best of our ability. And I hope that parents will take note of what happens in this district, that when they bring issues to our attention, we're going to listen and we're going to make any changes that may be necessary. And in this case, they highlighted a need to be more consistent and to improve our communication practices. And as a result, everyone's going to benefit across the district because of that work. Lastly, I want to say that even though there was no nefarious intent, we take seriously any actions anywhere in the district that undermine the trust of the families that we serve. And I'm really pleased that hopefully with the adoption of this policy, we're going to move forward and start to rebuild that trust.
Celine, sorry.
I'll keep my comments very brief, but I wanted to address particularly the high school and secondary school students who came out to comment on this policy today. So from what I gain and understand is that the importance of clubs really enhances the feeling of understanding, connectedness, and leadership that is crucial to ensure that our secondary students and young people feel that they are valued and seen and have the privilege and opportunity to engage with each other in these spaces. So I also hear that as well, that students really want knowledge of the club policies and why it is affecting them in certain regulations in the way that it does, and how it manifests into their daily interactions on campus. So my request as well, was mentioned before, is that staff from the district also follow up with all students to ensure that communication is maintained as well.
Thank you. Mr. Vargas?
All right, so I want to start with what we're not doing. There's been a lot of discussion, both in the media and among families out there, about what exactly these policies mean. And so first thing is, we're not shutting down any clubs, nor was that ever a consideration. We're not retreating from our commitment to having LGBTQ clubs available to any student who wants to start one, or on any campus where site staff feels there is a need. These clubs serve an important community building and campus safety function at both the elementary and secondary levels. Students and staff should feel complete confidence that they will have the full support of the district if they want to start an LGBTQ student club, period. We will still provide our staff and teachers the training and resources to support, promote, and advise LGBTQ clubs and support LGBTQ students. What we're doing is putting some guidance in place to help sites better communicate club offerings with parents and families by making that information available on our websites and having parents complete a permission slip at the beginning of the year. That doesn't mean I don't have some concerns. First, a permission slip policy would not have been my first choice. I would have preferred that the policy be opt-out, putting the responsibility on the extremely small number of parents who object to LGBTQ clubs rather than adding unnecessary burdens for everybody else. I'm also concerned with how this permission slip policy will be administered. The administration has said that it would be done at the beginning of the year and that parents would have to attest to the clubs that their children are permitted to attend. I think that is an acceptable way of doing it. What we should not do is have a permission slip policy that is specific to individual clubs or students, which would impose unequal burdens on some students, or worse, become a backdoor way of outing students. Second, I am concerned about the downstream consequences of this policy. Will students know ahead of time which clubs their parents have given permission for them to attend? If a student shows up to a rainbow club with their friends unaware that they do not have parental permission, will they be turned away? What is that going to do to the child's mental health, their self-esteem or self-worth, their feelings of connection to our campuses? As we implement this policy, we should know how we plan to handle these difficult situations where a student wants to be part of a club, but their parent has ideological opposition to it. But these are implementation questions, not policy questions. And therefore, they're not quite within our purview. These are things that we trust the administration to handle, and I do trust the administration to handle this. And as you are going through the implementation process, please remember that our first priority is ensuring that students are safe, that students have equal access to educational opportunities and are connected to our campuses. So,
Thank you. We cannot have disruption from the audience. Ms. Albiani?
one quick. So I just wanted to clarify.
We can ask you to leave if you continue to disrupt.
So just to clarify, I will be supporting this policy. I trust the administration and the staff to work out the details on implementation, and we need to get this policy in place so we're not further disrupting the ability of students to participate in these clubs.
Thank you. Ms. Albiani.
My fellow board members have said about everything I would have written on my paper. Some things I do want to highlight is there was a concern about permission slips, written permission slips. I was a second grade teacher. We can get a written permission slip and keep a folder of them. I don't think that's an issue. I think that I would suggest that's in an AR. I think that's a very reasonable request. I love that we have websites across our whole district that match and look the same and are easily accessible, and they're going to have a place where you can find a club that is as easy as finding your LCAP for your school. So I think that's a great part of this thing, part of this plan. I I appreciate the list of clubs because I think you also, as a parent, if you have a quiet child, you don't even know what clubs are available possibly because they aren't going to tell you. So I think providing everything out there is a great choice. I think we found a good balance. I appreciate the parents that came forward with their concerns and appreciate them becoming part of the process to find the solution. We take our students and our parents very seriously. And I think we've done this repetitively. And I will say that I have heard, and I know it is very frustrating because it is a long process. And it also often involves a lot of emotion because it's about our children. And so it is our most emotional point, and they're our most important people to us. And it does take a long time to do things correctly, and I am so sorry to the Red Cross group that has had to wait to get approved. But we are dealing with a very large cruise ship, not a speedboat. We have so many schools, and the benefit of this that I love is that there was a problem or a concern. I think there was a break in trust, which is very saddening, and I believe that will need to be rebuilt. But we have come out of it better on the other side, and that's what I've appreciated about its district for 10 years, is when there is an issue, they will own it, and we will work on it, and we will find a solution, and I believe we've done that again. And I think Ms. Chair has mentioned many of those in the past. So I think we are in the right spot here. That was my one suggestion for the AR. And again, I understand parents' hurt feelings, and I understand parents' concerns, and I believe this is a plan forward that ensures transparency. So I will be supporting.
Thank you. Mr. Yang.
Good evening to everyone out there. I just wanted to first start by saying thank you to the students, the parents, for continuing to advocate for concerns and improvement in this district. We, the board, with our staff, 6,500 plus, we are not perfect by all means, but we are here to take your advocacy seriously. And sometimes we do our best, but maybe still didn't get it right. But as far as I hear tonight, from the folks that spoke, we did it somewhat right and moving to the right direction. And I certainly agree to that. I do have 4 kids, age range from 5 to 17, and they are Elk Grove Unified School District students. And I definitely support parental rights. For the folks that may not have kids, they may not understand what that means. And I heard one of the public comment, but which I'm not sure if I could respond to that, but I was not really responding, but just the fact that the students are dependent, and that's what it is. And we are the parents that are the ones that are responsible for them while they are minor. And so I am very grateful and thankful for the collaborative effort from our staff, starting with Chris, our superintendent, and the whole board going to adapt this. And I'm very thrilled, and I, for one, gonna vote yes as well. So thank you for all your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you to the staff and Superintendent Hoffman for the process and doing the work to make these changes to the policy and the work behind it. And again, thank you to our student clubs who have been put on hold while we had to rework this. And I'm excited to be able to give you the opportunity to move forward with your clubs. And I want to thank all my board for their comments. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I do have one more question, and that would be directed to the superintendent. What happens tomorrow morning?
Well, tomorrow morning, so this is going to take us a little bit of time. So we are finalizing there is a permission slip. We're finalizing the permission slip. We've identified the spot on the website that will work at the school sites, but there's actually some technical pieces that need to be adjusted on some of the websites to make it all work in the same spot. So there's just a number of pieces, and then we need to actually meet with our principals and make sure they clearly end, this is the board direction, and then these are the administrative regulations that go along with it so that everybody's on the same page. So our expectation is an October 1st, fully implementation. If we get it done sooner than that, then we're not going to wait. We'll knock it off and get the information out to parents and let everybody know we're ready to go.
I congratulate the October 1st. That'd be
thank you.
pretty fast. Thank you.
Mr. Pettis.
So a yes vote would be saying that you will uplift this ban tomorrow?
Yeah. Can you clarify that there?
There actually wasn't a ban, so it's a little bit of an interesting, because we were delaying the starting of new clubs until we had this process in place. All of our other clubs, literally hundreds of them, have been running and functioning as they normally do. It was we holding on implementing of new clubs because we wanted to make sure we had this policy in place. But everything's going to be in place, ready to go. October 1 is our target date. And again, if we can have it done sooner than that, we'll do it sooner than that. But again, I know we do things slowly sometimes, but when we do things, we do them right. And so I don't want to do a start flag tomorrow, and then we have 3 false starts because the communication wasn't clear with somebody in the system. So that's why we want to make sure we're clear across the board.
So so we have a policy on that process. Then that's what we're saying. Someplace we have a process of starting a club and timetables of response from the board and you.
I'm speaking to the process we need to have in place in order to carry out the direction of the board policy and the administrative regulations that go along with it. There is already a system by which clubs are run through ASBs, and there's actually specific law that outlines that kind of thing, and there's constitutions that need that. We're not actually getting into that because that format works. That's actually not the challenge. The challenge is related to how we communicate that information, who has information now, they know about the clubs, and what the permission process is. We've always had permission related to after-school clubs, but now we're making sure we're clear about whether it's a lunchtime club, after-school club, regardless of the activity. So we just cleared up that distinction so that it's, as Mr. Porcina spoke to earlier, it's clear across the entire organization, and that's what we want to make sure is clear.
So our target date's October 1st to accomplish all this. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that. Mr. Yang?
Yep, there you go. Quick question, Chris. A yes vote, can we still amend some of the writing in there to clarify some of the concern that our constituents may have, or we cannot amend any of that policy? Just clarification.
So I would say that the additional items that have been brought up by the public, what I heard tonight, are really more specific to the administrative regulation, not the board policy. So the board's taking action on the board policy tonight. So we've, as staff, we've heard many of the recommendations. We'll continue to listen. My recommendation right now would be we implement the administrative regulations as we've created them at this point, but we're always open to, if we find something that's not working, we can make an adjustment to it. But I think for tonight, it's just the board taking action on the board policies, not the administrative regulations.
Thank you for clarification. I'm happy to hear that.
And if I could just make one comment, and that is hearing the interest in terms of permission. This is not verbal permission. It is written permission.
Thank you. All right, then I would like to call for a motion to approve board policies 6145, extracurricular and co-curricular activities, and 6145.5, student organizations and equal access.
So move.
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Yang and seconded by Mr. Vargas. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you. Ms. Watkins, resolution for readopting the 2023-24 Gann limit and adopting the 2024-25 Gann limit.
Good evening, Madam President, trustees, superintendent, Ms. Avalos, colleagues, members of the public. Is there not? I don't know if you have an attachment. There's no, I don't know that you have an attachment, so we can, I will just speak through it. There is no presentation. There is a resolution in the board packet. This is a required process that we enact every year. It is a part of the unaudited actuals packet as well. We are required by statute and proposition to approve the Gann limit. It is the appropriation limit. It sets our appropriations as a part of the entire state appropriation limit. So I'm asking that the board take action to approve the resolution in your board packet.
Thank you. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, we have no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve resolution number 26, establishing the district's Gann limit for the 2024-25 fiscal year and the recalculated 2023-24 appropriation limit.
So moved.
I approve.
Second, is there a
26.
second? It was moved by Mr. Vargas and seconded by Mr. Fortuna. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Good evening again.
No.
Thank you.
We're almost done. Okay. 2023-24 unaudited actual income and expenditures.
Yes, so good evening. I will be presenting this evening our unaudited actual report for the year ending 2023-24. Our unaudited actual report is the next step in our perpetual annual reporting cycle. At this stage, we are reporting on our ending financial position for 2023-24 last fiscal year. It is our new starting balance for the current 2024-25 fiscal year. And in December, we will present and review our current year status with our first interim report for 2024-25, and followed by January's governor budget proposal for next fiscal year, 25-26. The unaudited actuals are the final district reporting for last fiscal year, as I mentioned. It is an accounting rather than a budgeting process. It reports our final year-end position for last year, prepared using technical accounting principles, state guidelines, and standardized state software. This will be the official information used for state reporting that is seen online in EdData, which provides the public access to timely and comprehensive data about all K-12 school districts in California. It is reviewed by the Sacramento County Office of Education prior to being sent to the state and is audited by our independent financial auditors. The following 3 slides will show information for our general fund overall, both unrestricted and restricted. This slide represents the overall total. 84% of our district's general fund revenue comes from state sources, with 66% from our general purpose local control funding formula to support all students. 75% of our total general fund is spent on employee salaries and benefits. 16% is spent on services and other operating costs, and 9% for books, supplies, and capital purchases. 83% of total general fund expenditures are spent on instruction and pupil services, 12% on supporting our facilities and interfund transfers, and 5% on general administration to support district operations. This slide summarizes the variances since June's estimated actuals and the overall increase to our total general fund ending fund balance of nearly $42 million. All variances are reviewed and analyzed for future budget projections. Note that all negotiated agreements, including the comparability study and one-time payments, are included. Unrestricted ending fund balance decreased by $19.5 million. We recognized nearly $19 million in additional revenue from interest, lottery funds, and local grants. We recognized additional expenditures of nearly $16 million, including a reduction in the indirect charge offset from restricted programs of nearly $9.5 million. We also contributed close to $22 million to restricted programs in support of meeting students' needs. We are serving more students with higher needs. With increased services, we are balancing delivery by hiring more of our own employees, thanks to the improvements through the comparability study, and by reviewing contracted services. Restricted ending fund balance increased by $61 million, in part from the $22 million contribution from unrestricted general fund. We also recognized an allowable reduction of restricted revenues totaling $13 million because of an accounting principle called deferred revenue, where revenue is recognized as we spend it and carries forward into the current year. The $53 million reduction in restricted expenditures is for multi-year awards that carry over to future years. This slide compares the unrestricted general fund at estimated actuals, unaudited actuals, and how the updated ending fund balance of nearly $99 million becomes our new beginning balance for the 2024-25 budget year. Column C includes the variances described on the previous slide. Now here we will review the components of the $99 million unrestricted ending general fund balance. The balance is designated as non-spendable, committed, assigned for a specific purpose, reserved for economic uncertainties, and unassigned. The first component shows $1.4 million non-spendable reserve that includes our revolving cash account, inventory in stores, and prepaid expenditures. The $14 million commitment was board approved in June and includes our $8 million reserve to mitigate the reduction in concentration grant funding from declining unduplicated pupil accounts and $6 million for professional development. This will be reevaluated at first interim as our unduplicated pupil counts are returning to levels that will be eligible for concentration grant funding in future fiscal years and generating additional supplemental funding to support our students. The $12 million assigned balance is identified for 2024-25 textbook purchases, and $22 million is our state-required minimum reserve for economic uncertainty, calculated at 2% of total 2023-24 general fund expenditures and transfers, equivalent of only a week's worth of payroll. The balance of $49 million is unassigned and available. These are the components of our restricted ending general fund balance. These balances are all categorized as legally restricted for these specific programs and includes $33 million for expanded learning, close to $100 million in the arts and music and instructional materials and learning recovery block grants to support positions and initiatives previously funded with our ESSER funds, and nearly $9 million for VAPA education, to highlight a few. Now, these are our next steps in our accountability process for our unaudited actuals. SCOE is currently reviewing our report and will forward it to the CDE. This will eventually be given to EdData and published on the CDE's website. Our external auditor is in the process of auditing and reviewing our financials using their professional standards and the state audit guide. The audited financial statements will then be forwarded to the state and received by the Board of Trustees at the first meeting in January. And I want to acknowledge the thousands of hours spent by the entire district team over the last 5 months. We received funding from nearly 325 distinct sources, and it is our collective work that results in this report. So thank you, and I'll turn it over. Where's my team? I've got Adina Andres, Director of Fiscal Services, here in the audience. I believe Trish Pacheco was here earlier. She stepped out. And Sarah Magana is our Fiscal Compliance Specialist, and she helps work with the auditors as well. Thanks to everyone. It is a collective labor of love, I will say that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vargas, do we have any blue cards on this item?
Madam President, we have no blue cards on this item.
I would then like to call for a motion to approve the report on the 2023-24 unaudited actual income and expenditures.
So moved.
I'll second, Madam Chair.
I have moved by Mr. Vargas and seconded by Ms. Chavez Espinosa. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to bring this to your attention that one of our parents in the audience submitted a blue form.
I'm only one a second of your guys this time. I didn't know the protocol here. I was told at the district today that I'd be allowed
Unfortunately,
to speak. I didn't know the protocol.
it's the law.
I don't.
We are
my,
not
the
able.
Chaos that the chaos that my son goes through
cannot
does not compare
we
to whatever I will
cannot
bear for
have you-
trying to speak to you guys right now.
you-
my son
you
on
cannot
October 1st will be
speak
pushed
to
out
us
of the
right
district
now.
again. He was molested and raped at the
you
hands of
need to
Elk Grove
stop.
Unified School
You
District.
need to stop
I've emailed
speaking
each
right
one of
now.
you personally, and nobody has acknowledged me. My son is nonverbal.
Turn
My
off
son
her
cannot
microphone,
defend himself.
please. Can you please turn off her microphone? Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, but you cannot speak. It is illegal for you to speak at this time. We can have staff that will follow up with you. We have staff that can follow up with you. Thank you. Can we have somebody come and, thank you. Stop. We have staff that will come and speak with you. We have staff that will come. We have never received an email about that. Yes, yes, thank you. We will take a 5-minute break, please. Back? Okay. Oh, okay. Let me give Sean a second to come back. If you see Sean out there, can you let him know? Okay. All right. One more item on the agenda. Superintendent Hoffman or Mr. Fortino, we met with the City of Elk Grove. If you would like to give an update.
Thank you. Yeah, in the last several weeks, had two 2x2 meetings. The first one was with City of Elk Grove and Superintendent Hoffman and Deputy Superintendent. Kristen Coates were there along with Gene and I. That was a meeting that had been scheduled and canceled several times, so it was nice that we were finally there. One nice thing about meeting with the City of Rancho Cordova is when we meet with them, they have a number of people who attend that meeting, including law enforcement, which is really important because we talk about safe routes to schools and other traffic mitigation issues and others. And this last time we talked about their youth services and got quite an education with respect to the thrust that the city has taken. And so that was a very good meeting. Second one was with City of Rancho Cordova. And there we reviewed transportation issues, school site issues, the issuance of building permits, and where the city sees itself going. So that was also a good meeting. Those are partnerships that are important, just so that we're kind of on the same page with respect to what each other's planning is. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that that's the biggest takeaway from those meetings is the willingness for both the city and the district to work together in all of our efforts. So as we continue to expand, as we look to serve our students and continue to find new ways to work with them, it's all done in collaboration. So we did speak about all the future things coming up for the city and how the district can be a part of those. So thank you. Mr. Superintendent, do you have anything else to
I
report?
do have one thing to share with the board to make sure the board is aware and the staff that's here. Dr. Bindi Graywall is back there, is a champion for students and staff, and has been so for 30 years plus here in Elk Grove Unified, and served in many positions, including site principal, director in human resources, and this last role as the assistant superintendent of secondary education. She is a phenomenal leader, and we will miss her greatly. And she's an even better person. And so I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for the students and staff of Elk Grove Unified. I'm very happy for you. There's a little bit of not so happy here, but I'm happy for you. Again, I look forward to our paths crossing again in the future. But this will be her last board meeting. So you see a little grin on her face. That's what that is.
And with that, we will adjourn this meeting on a happy note at 8:22 p.m. Thank you.